Hello, I'm Chatty and welcome to my channel, Chatty the Mad Chatter, where I get to chatter away madly about books. This is another one-shot, no editing. I don't have my tiny teacups today because they're upstairs and I really can't be bothered to go and get them. So I have real tea today, real tea, it's full, it's hot, and maybe I'll get to drink it before it gets cold. So I'm going to be sharing with you some of my 5-star predictions. I enjoy looking at these videos and I really enjoy it when booktubers then reflect back and see if they, one, managed to read any of the books they spoke about, and two, if they actually were 5-star predictions. So I've broken it into 3 categories. So I'm going to do 15 books in total. I'm going to do 5 continuing a series that I love, which I feel are easy 5 stars because I've already enjoyed at least one book in the series. I'm invested, I'm excited. I generally like to think that authors get better and better the more books they write. There are exceptions, so it could all go horribly wrong, but I have faith that these books will be wonderful. I'm then going to look at books where there has been a lot of hype about, or I've heard really amazing things from booktubers that have similar tastes to me, so I really feel that they're quite a safe bet. I haven't got to them yet, but I'm really excited about them and I feel quite secure that they're going to be a 5-star read. And then the final category is more of a wild card. So it's more, I'm kind of going off my gut with this. So it's ones where I've seen them and thought they looked really cool, enjoyed the premise that's written on the back, but haven't really heard a lot of booktubers that I follow talking about them. There probably are loads of booktubers out there that have said these books are great and they've really enjoyed them, or they've read arcs. I just haven't come across them. So for all intents and purposes for this video, these are ones I haven't personally heard people talking about. So it's purely based on my judgment alone as to whether or not I think they might be 5-star reads. So we're going to start off with the series. The first one I don't have a copy of yet, just currently waiting for me in Waterstones, which is very exciting. So I do need to go and pick that up. And that is, oh no, it's not. I haven't heard about that one. I've got other books waiting in Waterstones, but not this one. I am waiting to get my copy of The Hunger of the Gods by John Gwynne. So this is the second book in, I think it's going to be a trilogy, but I could be totally wrong. It's called the Bloodsworn saga. So maybe not, because otherwise I might say trilogy. Anyway, that's irrelevant. I really enjoyed The Shadow of the Gods that came out last May. I loved that book. I thought it was brilliant. I'm really looking forward to rereading this in preparation for The Hunger of the Gods coming out, and I think I'm absolutely going to love Shadow of the Gods even more on a reread, because I have found just with rereads I get to kind of spend more time with them and I'm feeling affectionate towards these characters, so revisiting them I feel I'm just going to fall in love with them by understanding them a lot more on this reread. But I think loads of people are reading this now because they're so excited. I think I do anticipate books kind of a lot. I kind of leave them for the perfect moment, which is ridiculous. But I think I'm going to leave this more till kind of autumn time, just because they talk about porridge so much in Shadow of the Gods. So much porridge eating. And I really want to be able to eat porridge. And I just feel we're heading into spring. It's not porridge weather. I don't really fancy eating a load of porridge in the spring and the summer. So when it's getting cozier, when I can like put the fire on and have the lights on the low and have a nice hot bowl of porridge, I'm really looking forward into tucking in to this Norse gods saga. It is called, totally lost my train of thought. I've muddled it all up. This is, I haven't even started talking about it properly. It's an adult fantasy. It is a Norse fantasy, so it has a Viking kind of feel to it. The world building is amazing. It's all kind of built off the bones of like the old gods that are, I think the gods are all dead. and then you have some people in the world who are descended from the gods, but they tend to be enslaved and kind of looked down on in society. So we follow 3 protagonists, and I really enjoy all of them. And I am terrible and can't remember their names, which is why I'm rereading Shadow of the Gods before Hunger of the Gods. But anyway, I'm really excited to be getting to that one, and I really want to read it in the autumn. Okay, moving on. This one I do actually have a copy of right here, and that is The True Queen by Zen Cho. Is another fantasy, but very different feel. This one is what I love to call, well, it's what it was sold to me, Jane Austen with magic. So I can't even remember where I came across it or heard of it, but it had just been sat in like my little Waterstones wish list for a long time. And then Mum bought me it for Christmas, which was very exciting. And I then realised it was actually the second book in a duology. So I then managed to track down the first book, Sorcerer to the Crown, which I absolutely loved. I read that in March and it is one of my favourites. So the fact that I loved that one so much, I feel very highly that I'm going to really enjoy this one. I can't wait to kind of see the characters again. I really love Zen Cho's writing style. It was so witty. It had all of that Regency societal wit and people kind of challenging the normal society conventions and the kind of repercussions for that. So it is basically Regency society. So just think Bridgerton, but with a magician's guild and fae characters involved. So I can't wait to get back into this world. And this is very clearly, feel very confident it's going to be a 5-star book for me. So my second one is a middle grade fantasy, and that we're on third now. That's Hollowpox by Jessica Townsend. This is the 3rd book in the Nevermoore series. The 4th book, Silverborn, is coming out in October. So excited. But I need to read this first, and I'm so excited for this. The reason I've not yet read it is because I am buddy reading this with my mum, and we do that, and we've had a lot of fun reading Nevermoore and Wondersmith together, where we read up to a certain point and then we ring each other and talk about it, and it's been really good fun. So I really want to do that again, but we have to find the right time when both of us are ready to pick this up and read it. So this tells the story of Morrigan Crow. She goes to Nevermoore, which is this wonderful world where it's so magical. There's a school for the Wondrous Society. There is a really amazing found family that live in this magnificent hotel. There is discrimination against the things that Morrigan can do, both in the it's not a magical place, but it's not a real place that she originally came from. So she is used to kind of not being particularly liked, but her humour and her determination just shine through that. She doesn't let it get her down, so she's a really wonderful protagonist to follow. I love the friends that she makes. I love how the story progressed in Wondersmith, and I can't wait to see where it's going in Hollowpox. I'm so excited to see where this goes. You absolutely feel that Jessica Townsend has just planned this story, and it's all going to link together. We're going to find out more and more, and it's amazing. I love all the details of the world. I love the characters in the world. It's absolutely one of my favourites, and I can't wait. And let's just admire the prettiness of this book. And then we have under the dust jacket. Oh, it's so pretty. And yes, I did track down to make sure I had all copies in hardback, and I'm very excited that it's not going to be difficult this time because they're going to be released in hardback first, so I will very much be able to just buy it without having to worry about it. Talking about Silverborn, all the tangents. I'm quite tired. I'm sorry if I'm not at all coherent with this filming. So my 4th book for my series, oh crikey, we're nearly on 10 minutes and we're still on the first one, is Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson, which is the fourth book in the Stormlight archive. So this is like his biggest kind of fantasy series. There are 10 books planned, sort of 5 and then a break and then another 5. We're starting to get more Cosmere links through his other fantasy series that are all part of the same universe. And I have just reread Way of Kings and I'm hoping to pick up Words of Radiance soon. I'm loving my rereads and it's all in preparation to get to Rhythm of War, which is probably my most anticipated book because the Stormlight Archive is probably my favourite fantasy series. I just absolutely love all the world building. I did do a review of Way of Kings, so if you haven't heard of this fantasy series because you're not really a fantasy reader but are intrigued, wouldn't start with this fantasy series, would recommend many booktubers have beginner's guides to fantasy. More tangents. This is really not planned out at all, so I'm very sorry about this. Anyway, I have a video if you want to look at Way of Kings. But yeah, Rhythm of War. I'm going to drink more tea. Let's just drink more tea because I am not making any sense. But basically, so excited for Rhythm of War. I'm not going to explain what this is about because it's an epic adult fantasy. I think that's all you need to know. It's got great characters. It's got amazing world building. It's Brandon Sanderson. No more needs to be said. And I feel it should be a very easy 5-star. Okay, last book in the series. Last book in my 5-star predictions of series is another adult epic fantasy, and this is The Memory of Souls by Jen Lyons or Leons. I'm not sure which way you pronounce it. I'm currently rereading The Way of Kings. Not The Way of Kings. I'm currently reading The Ruin of Kings. I'm rereading The Ruin of Kings. I'm going to be rereading The Name of All Things, getting to this book where I haven't read this one before. I have not read The Memory of Souls. Sorry, this is appalling, but we're going for it. Which is the third book in the Chorus of Dragons series. There we go, A Chorus of Dragons. And this is a very complex fantasy series. It's told in a really unique way. There's usually 2 timelines going on or 2 stories going on. That it's kind of, it gives you almost a little bit of like whiplash. You just go back and forth and back and forth. But I really love that, how you're just kind of left on tenterhooks and then you go to another chapter. But then that one leaves you on tenterhooks, but you go back to the other one, and it's just all really exciting and gripping as you go through it. And then I presume this one is going to be the same, but the first 2 books are basically being scribed by one of the characters that you don't really know until you start reading the book. But there's a lot of snarky footnotes going on, which just give it an extra added something. Then what happened in the first 2 books is you then kind of have the 2 storylines merging together and you hit present day, and then the storyline continues. And then you kind of start running towards the climax and then the resolution of that particular book. There is a lot of characters that are that thing when you're born again. What's that called? There's characters where you think they are someone else. They've had a past life that adds a complication. They know other characters from a past life. It's just quite confusing at certain parts, but it's just this wonderful messy chaos. For me, The Name of All Things, we really got to explore other parts in this world, and I found them really well done. I thought the worlds were very vivid. It was really immersive, and I really connected with the characters straight away. It took me a while to get to grips in Ruin of Kings, but I really liked the fun, sarcastic humour of the book, and the tone really kind of spoke to me. With this reread, I'm highly enjoying it right from the get-go. I have a lot of affection for this series. It is very much what I call a Marmite book. You kind of either love it or hate it. If you like that straightforward linear storytelling, beginning, middle, end, and you don't want it to be too confusing or swippy swappy or changey all over the place, this book won't be for you. But if you really love fantasy books where they do things differently and try things in a different way. It is so much fun. It's so much fun. I can't wait to see where the story goes next in here. I feel we got left in a really good place. There's characters I like on both sides, so that feels really exciting. You don't quite know who to root for, but you're just here for this absolutely chaotic ride, and I'm thrilled. Okay, let's see if we can make the next two sections less chaotic. So we're now going for ones where I've heard really good things of. So these are books that are hyped by booktubers that I really enjoy. So I'm expecting that they are going to be 5 stars because of this. The first one is The Boneshard Daughter by Andrea Stewart. Again, it is another adult fantasy because it's my favourite. This one I don't know a huge about. I don't know a huge amount about, but what I do know sounds really exciting. I've heard the characters in this are really good fun. I hear the plot and the story is really interesting. The magic system's really interesting. It's set with on sort of islands or something from what I can recall. I haven't looked too deeply into it. Oh yeah, here we go. Here they are. Got a good old map in there. I haven't looked too deeply into it because what I heard from other people was enough to kind of spark my interest, and I didn't want to spoil it by knowing too much about it before I went in. Obviously from the title, it's got the word bone shard in it, so the bone magic does play a part in here. I don't really know what to expect from there, but I've heard so many people loving this and raving about it, so I am thrilled to be giving this one a go. The next one is a middle grade, a series that I'm really excited to read, and that is A Pinch of Magic by Michelle Harrison. This tells the story of 3 sisters who live in this land and they can't leave, and then something happens and they have to leave, or there's a curse or it's broken and they've got so much time to solve it or something. Like I said, it was enough that so many people were really excited about this. It's a middle grade. The cover is beautiful. It has 3 sisters working together. It's got another fun map in here. This book is very highly recommended by Verdania from the channel Verdania Silverscribe. She has been having a wonderful time with these books, so I'm so excited to finally be some point picking it up. I expect great things from this. I'm really hyped for this series, and I think that's all that needs to be said. Again, I am kind of holding off in this series just because I feel it's going to be one that I absolutely love, and I just like holding on to books and anticipating that point of getting to read them so I can just fully immerse myself and embrace it rather than rushing it. So yes, really looking forward to this. The next one is one that I have tried to pick up and read a couple of times. But again, like I said about having that moment where I'm really going to enjoy it, I just want to be able to sit and read it in kind of longer sittings. And for whatever reason, it hasn't felt like the right time for me to pick it up. But when I do, I feel I'm absolutely going to love this book. I've read another book by this author and I really loved it. So this is Angie Thomas's The Hate You Give. I absolutely loved On the Come Up. It blew my mind. I had such an amazing time with that book. This is the first one that she wrote, and I have heard nothing but utter praise for this book. I feel it's going to make me angry. I feel it's going to make me sad for some of the characters in here. I don't know. It's going to be one that I'm just going to want to sit and read. So I just need to have that moment where I can do that. So I'm really looking forward to getting to this at some point, and I'm thoroughly convinced it's going to be an easy 5-star. So the next one, different change in tone. This is the book. Again, an adult fantasy. Oh, I didn't say this one. This is a YA contemporary. Okay. This one is an adult fantasy that is described as the cinnamon roll, a hug in a book, and that is The House in the, I can never remember what version it is, The House in the Cerulean Sea. I say by there, at there, of there. It's in the House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. Most people I hear love this book. There are some who feel it's been overhyped or it didn't quite work for them, but as a huge middle grade reader, this is called middle grade for adults. I think it sounds amazing with the child characters, the grown-ups in here. The characters just sound beautiful. It sounds like it's really going to be up my street, so I just feel it is very much going to be a 5-star read. And my final one for the hyped books, the books I really think I'm going to enjoy, is The Mask of Mirrors by M.A. Carrick. So there are some people that haven't loved it as much as other people, but genuinely I hear really, really positive things about this book. This book has a lot of ballroom politics. This book has a character that is sort of undercover in here, that is a con artist, and I just think it sounds really, really cool. I think it sounds really exciting and fascinating. I think the plot, the characters, the world are going to be so much fun. So I do trust that this is going to be a 5-star read. Okay, moving on to ones that I have a gut feeling about. And I stupidly, before filming this, was supposed to check the title of one of the books I don't have that is coming out this year. Oh, I think I've just remembered it. Excellent. Okay, great. So one of the books that my gut says this is going to be a 5-star read is a book by Juno Dawson, who I've only read a non-fiction book from them. But this book is called Her Majesty's Royal Coven. And it is about witches. It's a historical fiction setting. Anyway, it's witches in England, and I'm doing an awful job at selling this. But when I read about the premise, I thought it sounded incredible. I thought it sounded really fun and funny, and I just really, really wanted to read it. That was an appalling sell by me. I'm very sorry. I really have not prepared this video, which I absolutely should have done, but I do think that book is going to be amazing. I will be linking all of these books with their Storygraph links, so you can actually click them and find out some more detail about them rather than my rambling waffle, which will be a lot more coherent and give you a much better idea of what these books are actually about, rather than me going, I think I'm going to love this book, it'll be amazing. It's essentially what this video is. So let's move on quickly, shall we? The next book is another fantasy. I think this has got a lot more hype. I think it is on a lot of people's anticipated reads for this year. But I did feel it was going to be a book that I was going to love and hopefully be a 5-star. And that was purely basing it off seeing the cover and hearing about the premise from a couple of people's anticipated videos, and then realising that I had actually put this on my Waterstones wish list anyway. So this is The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axie Ho. And Axie O, I'm reading it from the screen, from Axie O. It is based on some Korean mythology. It involves fate, it involves sea creatures, it involves following your path or letting destiny guide you or breaking out of it. I'm just really excited for it. I just feel it's going to be a really kind of magical read, and I can't wait to pick it up and read it. I do think that it has been on although it's been on a lot of people's anticipated reads, I haven't actually heard or seen anyone read it yet, so I really don't know how it's being received, but I'm really hopeful. I'm really hopeful that it lives up to its absolutely beautiful, beautiful cover. So the next book is more of a kind of historical fantasy, and that is The Conductors by Nicole Glover. So again, this came out last year, and it's got a quote from P. Djeli Clark, an underground railroad but with magic. And I recently read The Underground Railroad and really enjoyed it. So I'm really keen to kind of read more around that subject. And this has got elements of a murder mystery. It has got fantastical elements. It's dealing with slaves like escaping from their horrendous life and trying to find their freedom. And I'm really keen to kind of see what it does with this and where it goes with this. And I do, again, think the cover is really beautiful. I love the colours. I love the strikingness of the lamp with one of the main characters and the little golden railroads coming around as well. So I'm very excited for this one too. Don't know if I already said it, but it's by Nicole Glover. Then we have another middle grade. Again, it's another fantasy. And this is The Ship of Shadows by Maria Kuznia. This is probably the book that has been on my radar the longest. I kept seeing it in bookshops and just being really drawn in by the cover, but I wasn't buying books for me then. It was very much I'm buying books for my children or buying books as gifts. It's only recently that I've started buying books for myself, and I've been making up for lost time. So The Ship of Shadows, it caught my eye with its cover and also just with its premise about a girl that finds herself on a pirate ship and just starts having this adventure with this crew of female pirates. And I am very much here for swashbuckling. I am here for a feminist book. I am here for an adventure book. So all of that was sold, and everything else I hear just kind of keeps getting me more and more. Look how pretty that is. More and more excited for this book and convinced that yes, it will be a 5-star read. I have heard good things about this after I then got it. So it is a gut read because I picked it up before I heard people also really enjoying it, and also before I read Maria Kuznia's adult book, Midnight in Everwood, which she published under M.A. Kuznia, and that was beautiful. So I'm expecting a lot of great things from this one. And my final book is not a fantasy. It is a historical fiction, and that is The Mercies by Kieran Millward Hargrave. So without reading any of Kieran Millward Hargrave's books, I really want her to be one of my favourite authors because all of the books that I've heard about from her, the premises sound so incredible. They really sound like the things that I really want to read. They all sound really different. There seems to be giving me a lot of feminist vibes. So I really feel quite strongly that I'm really going to like her, but I really should actually read one of her books and just confirm that. So this one I haven't heard a lot of people talk about, probably because I tend to kind of look at a lot of fantasy booktubers. But The Mercies is based on this island that they lost their menfolk. So the women then took on all of the roles, all of the jobs. They were doing it all themselves because I think there was some sort of storm or something, and the menfolk got wiped out. So they've become this like self-sufficient female island, and then you get this religious character who has misogynistic views and feels that this is not good enough because they surely can't be doing that, and he thinks they must be witches. So he and his wife go to this island, and his wife starts to have very different ideas to him. I really feel like there are a lot of amazing characters in this. I really feel the themes are going to be interesting. I'm really excited about the premise. I just feel I'm going to love this book based on those things alone. I have heard a few people mention that they enjoyed this, but that was a while ago, and I already picked the book up then. Haven't really heard anyone talking about this recently, but I am so excited to read this. And again, I just think the cover is beautiful. Oh yeah, and we've got swirly bits in here as well. So yes, it says on Christmas Eve in 1617, the Norwegian island of Vardø is thrown into a reckless storm, and then all the fishermen are wiped out in an instant, and now it's a place of women. Yes, and it was inspired by the real events of the Vardø storm and the 1621 witch trials. So I'm really keen for this one too. Witch trials. I think is now one of my buzzwords in fiction, along with escaped slaves. So we have a load of books that I think are going to be my 5-star predictions. And then at some point I will look back at this mess of a video and see what was on it, and if any of them were indeed 5 stars, and if I actually got around to reading any of them. I hope that I at least get to half of them this year, if not all of them, and then can let you know if I thought they actually were 5 stars or not. If you've managed to stick with this waffle through the video, please let me know. Do a little book pile in the comments so I can see if you made it all the way to the end. I'm so sorry. I promise my next videos are not going to be this chaotic. I'm filming this quite late at night when my children have gone to bed. I'm quite tired, but I wanted to get it out there. I had a lot of fun coming up with what books I was going to put in what different categories and which one I was going to focus on, and I really wanted to share that with you. Let me know if you've read any of these, if you think they will be a 5-star for me. Are there any you think I should prioritise? Would love to hear from you all. Happy reading, everyone.